Well, June gloom is not a stranger to anyone, and today's the perfect day for my June gloom summer video, which is part of my Endless Summer personal branding series, which is all about pushing through the entire year as though you are in the throes of the most glorious summer months you've ever experienced. Well, if you look up in the sky now, it has that kind of gloomy feel that you're likely to feel in June or even July. And I think also it's worth saying that there is a little thing called global warming that is, changing the topography, the landscape of our world. And, we'd like to not pay attention to it. And tell you the truth, sometimes I think, well, I'm just going to live it up. I'm just going to walk my dog and wear a bright colored shirt and not care. And that's fine. But it is worth saying that if you can tie your brand to the change you'd like to see in the world, it doesn't mean that you're a purpose-driven brand or a mission-driven brand. This is an interesting thing that has come up. Over the past decade, I have been engaged in a lot of campaigns that were mission-driven for brands that are for-profit, and they're merely, hold on, I'm having an issue with the dog because he has an unhealthy fixation with a young rabbit here, and as you can see, he's quite a monster. Partnerships for the betterment of the world is honestly what keeps us going round and round, so make sure you're tying your brand to your heart. That is easier said than done. If you're a small business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, you're trying to get something off the ground, you don't want to shoehorn do-gooding into what you're about. But it's as simple as digging deep and finding out what you do care about. We're used to saying to our customers, if money weren't a factor, what would you want to do this? If the finances were not an issue, would you want to do this? Well, what would you do if the finances were not an issue? And I'll put it to you this way. What will you do when the finances are no longer an issue? Because if you look at tremendous success, and I recently published an article, a newsletter article on LinkedIn about Deadpool and Wolverine, the summer blockbuster with Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, crossing the $1 billion mark in grosses. And the idea was that it's not so much that this movie, has grossed $1 billion. It's that these two actors have tirelessly been out there promoting out of this movie at every turn, from showing up at a Green Day concert in costume to being on a billboard for Heinz ketchup and mustard, and virtually anything. And the point was, and I assume the movie's good. The point was that what they brought to it was decades at this point of establishing their personal brands. So all the good that Hugh Jackman has done since 2009 with Laughing Man Coffee, promoting fair trade, coffee bean production and all of that stuff. And now, from his deal with Keurig, donates 100% of the profits to the Laughing Man Foundation. So all of that stuff has contributed to a personal brand that's sincere, genuine, funny, irreverent, and happy. And I cannot think of any that has more value in the marketplace than happiness, joy, frivolity, irreverence. It is not a mistake that in the years of our greatest turmoil as a species, Ryan Reynolds' particular brand of irreverence and sincerity has catapulted him to billions in profits. And I don't mean for his movies. I mean billions in profits for the companies that he's cultivated, invested in, and sold. So that's how you incorporate do-gooding. I don't know why I don't just say philanthropy, but that's how you incorporate do-gooding into the future you want to see and the kind of personal brand you want to be.